Hey, hey, hey. Time for an Out of This World story from rSpace. Nothing says a bachelorette party like cheating on your soon-to-be husband. Today on rSpace, let's crank this party up to 10 and call off this wedding. Sorry friends, the bar is closed. Caught my fiancée cheating the night before the wedding. Now, she's in trouble begging for forgiveness. Hello, I'm Rick, 27 male. My ex-girlfriend, Maya, 25 female, and I were so much in love, or should I say, I was so much in love with her, and I never believed she would break my trust and cheat on me like she did. When Maya and I first met, she was freshly out of college, and I was already working with a fast-growing tech company. For me, it was love at first sight, and there was something about her that I could not place my fingers on. I met her at my friend's sister's birthday party. Maya and my friend's sister were college friends. She must have noticed I was checking her out at the party because she kept looking in my direction. After a lot of internal struggle, I approached her. I wasn't as chubby now, I just had a noticeable weight, which runs in my family, and I had been that way since childhood. In the past, many girls had turned me down, laughed in my face because I tried hitting on them, and I wasn't expecting anything different with Maya. She was gorgeous, and I expected her to either snub me or pretend like I didn't exist. But she was different. She spoke to me politely, and we talked for the rest of the night, and had such a great time. It was my first time feeling that good and confident in a long time, and because we clicked so well, we exchanged contacts, and I gave her a call as soon as I got home. From there, we started seeing each other often, went on lunch dates, and our friendship grew as time passed. I found Maya to be different from other girls of her age. She was kind, witty, and intelligent, I figured from the first night we talked. I wasn't just attracted to Maya because of her beauty. What attracted me most to Maya was her intelligence and sense of humor. Not so many girls had given me the opportunity to go on multiple dates with them, but Maya was generous to give me a shot. I was always attracted to intelligent people. I didn't like being around people with no life goals, vision, or future plans, and Maya was all of it. She was just out of college, actively scavenging the job openings, rushing for the marathon of interviews, and whatnot. I loved to see how serious she was about her career. I never had a real relationship apart from one in high school. Not because I couldn't keep one, but because the girls wanted something more than a nerdy boy's love, which I didn't have. So meeting and dating a girl like Maya felt like a win for me. It was months since she had graduated, and she had no luck in the job hunting game. She had left the college dorm and shifted with her friend, but it was becoming difficult for her to survive. Her parents were not well off to support her post-graduation. They had made it clear to her that she needed to care for herself after graduation. The friend, which Maya whom lived, was very clumsy and would often have a boyfriend at the house. Since it was a one-bedroom flat, it became difficult for Maya to live in that house. Maya said living at a friend's place was taking its toll on her mental health, so I asked her to take a break for a while and move in with me. Although I was just starting my career in tech, the pay was good. I earned enough to care for both of us without her contribution. We lived in a spacious one-bedroom apartment, and I single-handedly took care of rent, paid the bills, and took care of groceries. I never complained because I loved her and didn't see a big deal in spending some extra bucks on her. Blind love, yeah. Throughout our relationship, everything went on smoothly, and we barely had any major fights. Maya managed the house, did the dishes and laundry, went grocery shopping, and took care of my bed needs. She was so great in bed, and I enjoyed every bit of the moment with her. Before Maya and I started dating, she told me about her ex-boyfriend in college and how he maltreated her. I assured her I was a gentleman and I kept my promise. In the past, I had never had issues controlling my anger, and I never laid my hands on anybody or a woman, so she was safe with me. Believe it or not, I had never cheated in the past, and I didn't plan on cheating on her. Also, my work was 60% remote and 40% on site, so I shuffled our house and the office, and this allowed us to spend enough time together. To show how transparent I was with her, I even came up with the rules of telling each other wherever we went, who we were with, and what we were doing whenever we were out. I did this to show her I meant serious business with her and that I had nothing to hide. As our relationship progressed, we introduced each other to our parents, and in no time, we knew all of each other's friends, mainly those close to us. I didn't have a best friend, but Maya had. Her name was Andrea, and she used to hang out with Maya all the time. She also visited the house regularly, and we were almost like family. Andrea and Maya were roommates back at college. Unlike Maya, Andrea worked as a retail store manager at a popular store in our city and lived with her two sisters, who were also working women. As for Andrea, Maya was able to crack the job for the same supermarket, but Maya declined the offer because she wanted a corporate job. I guess she became very comfortable with me providing for her, although I didn't say this to her. Andrea would often tease her and call her spoiled. Maya claimed she had worked hard, juggling many part-time jobs as a teenager and while in college, so she deserved to be relaxed and cared for. On my end, I was happy to give her that break. I didn't have any issues with taking care of Maya. In fact, I was glad I could provide and take care of my woman. One evening, while we were at a fancy restaurant to celebrate my promotion, Maya suddenly asked, "What do you say we get married?" I stuttered. I was taken aback for a moment, but it didn't totally come as a surprise. I had been thinking of settling down with her, but I still had a lot of things under consideration. So I told her we would be married when the time was right, and she smiled. To be honest, I wanted Maya to start her career before we took our relationship to the next level. I always wanted to get married and have a family. After Maya came into my life, I've always imagined my life with her. I had even bought the ring to propose to her, but was waiting for her to get her career straight. But somehow, she found the ring in my closet, and before she could make any assumptions, I had to make an early proposal. The first time Maya broke the news to her best friend, Andrea, she looked more shocked than happy. Not the kind of shock that her best friend was getting married, but the shock that her best friend was getting married to me. I expected more excitement from her, especially since she would be Maya's maid of honor, but the excitement did not come. Her response was, "Are you being serious?" Andrea then tossed her purse on the floor and held Maya's ring. Then she looked up at me and forced a smile. Trust me, I had been around them for a very long time and I could tell when her smile was forced and when it was genuine. Although I didn't mention it to Maya, I felt Andrea was not happy for her friend. In the past, I noticed Andrea was always awfully nice to me. Once, we three were hanging out in our apartment. While Maya went inside the kitchen to prepare some quick snacks, Andrea hinted to me that Maya was not who I thought she was. I understood what she meant, but I played dumb. I asked her what did she mean. Andrea said that I would figure it out eventually. She was drunk. Besides, she did not pass a direct message, and I could not conclude based on that. In no time, we started planning our wedding. Maya wanted a big fat wedding, the kind she could invite all her friends, family, and frenemies, but that was not what I wanted. First, it was significantly about my budget since she would not be contributing a penny to it. Secondly, I believed there was life after the wedding. I loved kids and I wanted us to have a child almost immediately, and that meant we'd need to rent a bigger apartment and take care of other things. Although Maya had all the reasons to want a big wedding, I still kicked against it. She mentioned something about having the perfect expensive wedding, but we both knew it was impossible. Surprisingly, Maya got a job a couple of months before our wedding. I told her I could not afford to buy the brand of wedding gown she needed and pay for her bridesmaids' dresses, so she figured it was better to get a job and handle most of her bills instead of bugging me. Her wise decision impressed me, and I hoped she would keep up with her career after we married. Also, I expected she would contribute to our wedding plans with her new job in the picture, but she didn't. Everything she earned was channeled to her gown, shoes, accessories, and everything her bridesmaids needed. So I ended up paying for the wedding venue, hall, cakes, and almost everything on my own. 2 weeks before our wedding, I noticed that Andrea began to text me more and more. She'd text me in the morning to ask if I slept well, and she'd text me if she went shopping with Andrea. In fact, it was a long list of reasons to text me, but whenever we met, or she came to our house to help Maya with something, she would remain calm, so Maya would not suspect anything was off between us. At one point, I had to tell Andrea to stop calling and texting me because it was getting out of hand. I was afraid that it might jeopardize my relationship with Maya. I was too afraid to mention it to Maya because I didn't want it to ruin her friendship or wedding preparation. I knew how much she loved and trusted Andrea, and deep down, I believed Andrea was trying to seduce me or get me to change my mind about marrying her best friend. On the night of Maya's bachelorette party, I understood why. I was in the club section of the hotel where we were all lodging at a day before a wedding. I was drinking with some of my friends when Andrea called me and said there was something she wanted to show me. At first, I didn't want to go because I believed she wanted to seduce me one last time, but when she mentioned Maya and a familiar name, I took one of my friends and went upstairs. I got to the hotel room they were using for the small party. I saw Andrea outside the door waiting for me. She told me something I could not believe, and when I opened the door, my heart nearly fell into my stomach. Before I opened the door, I heard soft moans from their room, and my chest constricted as I touched the door's handle. To my greatest shock, I saw Maya on top of another man, which I suspected was the male stripper they hired to entertain them. The moment she saw me, she jumped off him and struggled to cover herself with the sheets. Almost instantly, I recognized him, as Andrea had told me he was her college ex-boyfriend, and I didn't even know when I started crying. It was too much to handle, and I walked out on them without saying a word. My friend who had escorted me upstairs was also mortified. He tried to talk to me or maybe calm me down, but I shrugged him off and walked out. As I walked down the corridor, I heard Maya yelling at Andrea.
"Why would you do this to me? My life was going perfectly, but you ruined it."
Andrea yelled back,
"I told you he deserved better. Rick has been nothing but good to you. I told you to break up with that loser boyfriend of yours and be with Rick, but you wanted to eat your cake and have it."
I didn't bother to look back. I could not believe Maya had been playing me the whole time. It was too painful to accept, and I wished I could handle the hurt I felt, but I couldn't. Andrea even tried to follow me. I slammed the door in her face. I drank until I could not differentiate between a shadow and an actual person. The following morning, I woke up to a ton of missed calls from Maya and some other people. When I left the room, Maya was already wearing her wedding gown. She looked so miserable. The moment she saw me, she ran to me and asked why I wasn't dressed for our wedding, and hearing that made me so furious. Out of anger, I pushed her away and announced I was calling off our wedding. Everyone was shocked, and they kept asking why I changed my mind. Even my parents were shocked to see me in that state, because no one expected this to come after all the money I had spent on the preparations, but I was too heartbroken to speak. I stared at Maya with blood boiling down my spine. I went back into my room and locked myself. From inside the room, I could hear my parents and some of our friends asking Maya about the reason behind my decision, but she didn't respond. She just pretended to faint, and a couple of people caught her before her body touched the floor. After cleaning up from the previous night, I left the hotel room with the few belongings I had taken there. I switched off my phone after I dropped an apology message on my friend's WhatsApp group chat and switched off my phone. Please don't blame me. I don't know how else to react. It's been a week since then, and I still don't know how to come to a term that I was being played on. Wow. Literally the day before the wedding. I'm sorry, OP. What an absolute blow to your ego and your bank account. It's weird how Andrea knew and didn't want to say anything before all of this even happened. Why wouldn't she tell you? Maybe she wanted you to come to your own conclusions because she secretly wanted you for herself. Maybe had she told you, you wouldn't have believed her, and maybe that would have tainted how you looked and felt about Andrea. Update 1. Hi everyone. Thank you for your comments. It means so much to me. Some of you commented in my original post about why I didn't do the background check with my friend's sister before dating Maya. So the thing was, I was stupid. I did not feel the need to do it aggressively. However, I remember subtly asking my friend's sister about Maya during the initial dating phase. She responded that they both were in different departments and Maya was her friend's friend, and after college, they were not in touch, so it didn't help much. Speaking of Maya, I met her yesterday, and she was so mad at me for standing her up at our wedding. It's kind of funny, right? She ignored what she did and made me the villain in this story. She told her parents I canceled the wedding because I had drunk too much the previous night and I wasn't in my right senses. I think she is mistaking my quietness for foolishness. I didn't want anything to do with her anymore, and I didn't understand why she thought we both could be a thing again. To make this worse, she admitted that she was still having an affair with her ex-boyfriend when we were dating, which broke me more. She did it because I was always working and I didn't give her the kind of attention she needed. Right now, I am so confused. I never neglected Maya or turned down any of her needs. She was also why I always worked so hard. I could take care of our bills and still care for her. Even as I type this, the thought of her sleeping with her boyfriend behind my back still hurts me. And right now, she's asking us to fix another wedding date because she cannot bear the embarrassment. To think that she only apologized once about how she had hurt me shows that she never loved or valued me as much as I loved her. It was more of a one-person thing. And I told her I cannot marry her. I just cannot. Meanwhile, I kicked her out of my house and changed my locks. After I met with Maya yesterday, I also met Andrea to thank her for helping me dodge a bullet. It was through Andrea that I knew Maya had been getting money from me to take care of her boyfriend, and anytime she asked for a ridiculous amount to buy something, she gave it to him. Also, I never mentioned that Maya went to the gym every evening while we lived together. She was just obsessed with being fit, and I didn't think something was wrong with that. Well, I just found out that she was meeting with her college boyfriend every day, and most of the time, she said she was with Andrea, but she wasn't. She only asked Andrea to cover up for her. And the reason Andrea was so shocked when Maya showed her the engagement ring was because, a couple of days earlier, she had told Andrea she wanted to settle down with her college boyfriend because she was deeply in love with him. Now, I understand why Andrea wouldn't stop texting and calling. She was looking for a way to tell me what was happening, but I didn't give her the opportunity. Sometimes, I feel I deserved this because I was so stupid that I got trapped so easily. I have made up my mind, and there won't be another wedding. I will be meeting her again in 2 days to trash her belongings. I will make another update soon. What a delusional fool to think that you'd show up at the altar after discovering her on top of another man. Of course she made you out to be the villain because she can't stand to look like the villain herself. It would be absolutely embarrassing for her if people discovered that she was cheating on you this entire time, but still, shame on Andrea for letting it get that far. Update 2. Hello everyone, sorry for the delay in updating. I met Maya again the second time 3 weeks ago, and something unexpected happened. Meanwhile, when I told her we would never be together again, talk more about getting married, she looked me in the eye and said,
"Do you think calling off our wedding will help you find a better woman? No woman in her right mind would want to be with an overweight man like you. You should consider yourself lucky to marry a woman like me."
In my entire life, I had never been insulted like that, and it hurt so much that it came from someone I once loved or someone who claimed she loved me. At that point, I knew the kind of person she was. Although it's hard to admit, I realized she had been using me the whole time. I know I'm overweight, but I didn't want a marriage where my wife felt like she was doing me a favor. I knew how these kinds of marriages always turn out to be. We didn't talk much that day because she threw my engagement ring on me and walked out in anger. I blocked her on all of our mutual social media platforms and even her number. But before I blocked her parents from calling me, I visited them and told them how much a whore their daughter was, and they were so disappointed when they found out the truth. About a week later, after Maya walked out on me at the cafe, a strange number began to call me repeatedly. When I picked it up, I immediately recognized Maya's voice. She sounded different, calmer, and more respectful. Without beating around the bush, she asked if we could meet because she had something important to tell me, but I insisted to say it over the phone. But before she said it, she started apologizing. She asked me to forgive and forget everything that happened between us in the past, so we could start on a fresh slate. Guess what? Maya said she wanted to tell me she was pregnant, and I found that really odd. And without waiting for me to say another word, she added,
"I'm pregnant with your baby, Rick."
And I busted into a loud laugh. I told her it wasn't April Fool's yet, and she was already pulling pranks. Then I ended the call on her. And like I expected, she didn't stop calling, so I was forced to block the number too. It turned out that her boyfriend had abandoned her after he knew she could no longer take care of him, and when she broke the news of the pregnancy to him, so when it didn't work, she thought she could pull a fast one on me. Since then, she's been trying to call me with strange numbers, and I kept rejecting them. Just 2 days ago, she showed up at my house, uninvited. Andrea was there with me. When she saw Andrea, she attacked her with her filthy words, calling Andrea a whore who destroyed her best friend's life. She even accused me and Andrea of having an affair and cheating on her. I had to call the police on her, and yesterday, I filed a restraining order for her. I can only imagine how miserable her life would be without a job and someone to help her raise the baby. As for Andrea and I, there's nothing between us, and I don't think we'll ever be a thing. She shows up sometimes to check on me. Right now, I just want to have my life fixed, and hopefully, this broken heart of mine will heal one day. While I still cannot forgive her what she did to me, I guess she got what she deserved. I'm still trying to heal and move on. Any advice would be highly appreciated. Thanks. I'm sorry she said all those things to you, OP. She just wanted to insult you to make herself feel better. She knows she's an ugly person for doing what she did to you for so long, and honestly, in her mind, she probably thought you were going to continue on with the marriage because she figured you were a weak person who she could walk all over. Joke's on her. You actually have a backbone. What do you make of this? Would you have wanted Andrea to tell you? How can OP move on from this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We'd hate for you to miss our new content. See you next time.